battle of Armageddon. There is also a war against the two witnesses, which connects the second woe and the sixth trumpet. As I mentioned previously, some of the time frames are difficult to provide in a way that is exact and precise. Therefore, everything has to heavily rely on the context of Scripture and the verses provided. Based on the details provided, you can get a general idea of timing. It is possible to ascertain that the timing of these events are a continuation of a previous event. It also appears that some of these events overlap. In this case, it appears that both a continuation and a climax is taking place. Yeshua appears and begins harvest. That means he is traveling and gathering and stomping out grapes. His traveling around to different nations is the reason it's called the time of visitation, because he's making visits. Because he's going around and visiting the nations. He visits, gathers, and stomps out. This parallels and brings clarity to verses like Matthew 24, verse 39, Matthew 24, verse 41, Luke 17, verse 36 through 37. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Matthew 24, 39. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill. The one shall be taken, and the other left. That's Matthew 24, 41. And then we have Luke 17, verses 36 through 37. 2 men shall be in the field. One shall be taken, the other left. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Master? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. So therefore, what's happening is Yeshua is traveling around. People are being selectively picked off, gathered together, stomped out, and fed to the birds. Let's examine Luke 17:36. In Luke, you see 2 parts addressed. 1, 2 men will be in the field. One shall be taken, the other left. 2, Yeshua is asked where. Yeshua responds by saying, Wheresoever the body is, there the eagles will be gathered together. When we examine the first verse, we see people are being selectively picked off. The question is asked, where? They want to know, where are they being taken to? Now we know that they're being taken because they are being harvested. That's the reason why they're taken. And this harvesting of grapes appears to be a continual event that goes all the way through to the 7th angel. So like I mentioned earlier about the time and it continuing and overlapping, that's what I'm referring to. It starts when Yeshua appears with the 4th angel, because the 4th angel sounds and he starts to harvest. He appears and he starts harvesting. This is happening through all the other trumpets that are being blown. And this is something else too. So on top of him harvesting and gathering, you also see a model that's being illustrated. And this model of basically feeding the wicked to the birds is also demonstrated after the 1,000-year reign, which I'm going to explain that in a little bit too. But these events are compounded, like I stated, from other trumpets. Because remember, there's a trumpet that sounds and locusts are going to be unleashed on the earth, and the beast kingdom is going to be thrown into darkness. So there's a lot that's going on. This also provides context and insight as to why people felt they could fight against Yeshua, and how it was possible for wicked people to get baited into fighting. They were tired of being scared, of being snatched, being picked off. They were tired of being in darkness. They were tired of the locusts and the plagues. Question: is the kidnapping and the dark what set the tone for them to believe they were experiencing an alien invasion? It makes you think of a lot of different movies. And there was another movie I remember seeing advertised. I never watched it. I don't even know the name of it. But it has something to do with people that were like in the dark or something, or they weren't supposed to make a sound, or they picked off. I've never seen the movie and I don't even know the title of it, but that's what this reminds me of. I can see how people may, especially if you don't know your scripture interpret this as being some type of invasion. So I know a lot of Christians that talk about the rapture always say that the rapture is going to happen and the world is going to say it was some type of alien invasion. And so, granted, we know that there is no such thing as a rapture, but the theory of alien invasion may not be too far off. Either way, what we do know is that there are going to be people that are going to be picked off and gathered together and judged and fed to the birds. But as we know, or as we continue, we also know that there are 3 frog-like unclean spirits that work miracles that are able to convince the kings of the earth to gather people together for battle at the Battle of Armageddon. Clearly, things don't work out as well because they're killed and fed to the birds, as I stated earlier. Now, is this also one of the reasons the beast decides to make war with the 2 witnesses? See, we know that the killing of the 2 witnesses leads to the second woe. We know that the woes are attached to the last 3 trumpets. The first woe was with the 5th trumpet, and the 3rd woe is clearly with the last trumpet, which leaves the second woe connected to the 6th angel. Are the events of the 6th angel sounding his trumpet the reason for the murder of the 2 witnesses, which bring about the second woe? The reason I ask that question is mainly because of this pattern, and I'd like for you to notice this pattern as well. See, the dragon, which is Satan, wages war in heaven but fails and is cast out. So, since he didn't succeed there, he decides to pursue the woman. But he fails at that attempt as well, and he fails at trying to flood the woman with bitter waters. He fails at flooding the woman with bitter waters because she escapes to the wilderness, so he decides to make war with the remnant of her seed. We see the same pattern with the Battle of Armageddon. War is waged against Yeshua, but it's a failed attempt, so war is waged against the 2 witnesses. Now we're getting to the 7th trumpet on pages 34 through 35. After visiting the nations, Mystery Babylon was saved for last. The Israelites are told to flee Babylon. So again, you're still dealing with the diaspora of Israelites. You had Israelites in Judea. You had Israelites in Turkey. Once things climaxed, they ended up fleeing. Some of them went to the wilderness. Other ones were scattered everywhere. So you still see the diaspora of Israel. So it's not us that unites these sticks as one. It's good that we unite as one people, but we have to understand that this is an act of Yahuwah, our Elohim, that joins the nations together as one, because they're scattered everywhere. So lastly, you have the Israelites there in Babylon. And so before bringing judgment on Babylon, they're told to flee. So they're fleeing. They're getting out of Dodge and trying to find the way to Zion. When the 7th trumpet sounds, the mystery of Yeshua will be finished. The sound of the 7th trumpet, it is verbally declared that the kingdom of the world becomes the kingdom of Yahuwah and Mashiach. The 7th angel sounds and there is a resurrection. The mysteries of Yahuwah are finished. Now, we're moving to page 37 through 38, the 3rd woe. The 7th angel sounded, and there are voices, thunder, lightning, a great voice out of the temple of heaven saying, "It is done." So the 2 verses underneath the 2,300 days is listed. You see Revelation 15, verses 7 through 8, and you should see Daniel 8, 13 through 14. The only reason why those are listed is simply as reminders to know when the temple had been cleansed. And Revelation 15, 7 through 8 reminds us that no man could enter the temple until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed. Revelation 16, 17 through 21 affirms it was complete because of what the voice outside the temple says. From the time of the daily sacrifice to the transgression of desolation, which is abomination that causes the desolation to the sanctuary is cleansed, will be 2,300 days. Page 38 through 39, temple doors open. So we see the temple doors open. We see the prayers of the martyred saints of the fifth seal are answered. Then the temple of Yahuwah was opened, and we see the Ark of the Covenant. Pages 39 through 40, heaven opens, and we see Yeshua on a white horse dipped in blood. He came from making his visitations from Edom to Basra and anywhere else he chose to visit. Now, the verses for his rewards for good and evil are provided in the document as well as a reminder that he's coming for the wicked and his reward is with him, which, as you see, the reward for the wicked was to be harvested. On page 40, we're down to the beast kingdom, Mystery Babylon, his 10 kings in his kingdom. So I don't know if because I know it's scripture says that the beast slayed 3 of the 10 kings. I don't know if he just replaced those that were slayed with new kings. Because you're still dealing with 10 kings that have one mind to give their power and strength to the beast. The purpose of that was to make war with the Lamb, but clearly they lose. So Jeremiah 50 provides more in-depth and more paralleled model for the fall of Mystery Babylon. Then we're moving to page 40 through 41. Revelation 17, 12 through 13 tells us the 10 kings will receive their power, but give it to the beast, which is the king. But it also tells us they will hate the whore, which is Babylon. It's the great city that reigned over the kings of the earth, and Yahuwah will put it in their hearts to burn her with fire. They will burn the city. The details in this verse do not appear to be in order, but either way, we know that the 10 kings will be of one mind and will give their power to the beast, which is the king of Mystery Babylon. But these same kings will have it in their hearts to hate the city, Mystery Babylon, and strip it down and burn it. So continuing on pages 41 through 42, keep in mind that fire can destroy a city in a day. So remember, all the people are going to flee Babylon. It's basically going to be left without inhabitants, and every man is going to go to his own country. Yahuwah is avenging his temple, which is stated in Jeremiah 50:28. The heavens and the holy apostles and the prophets are also being avenged on Babylon. An angel picks up a great millstone and casts it into the sea. Thus, with violence shall the great city of Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. He declares Babylon has fallen. Pages 43 through 44. After Babylon's demise, the beast and the false prophet are cast into the lake of fire. The remnant that was left were killed by Yeshua, who was sitting on the horse. But the sword was the word that proceeded out of his mouth. In other words, he didn't have to lay hands on them. He killed them with his words. And still we see birds that ate their flesh. Now the 5th angel is going to bind Satan. Now notice that of the 3, the beast, the false prophet, and Satan was not cast into the lake of fire. Yet he was bound by the 5th angel, who had the key to the bottomless pit and the great chain. He will be bound there for 1,000 years, but after that will be loosed for a little season. We see a great multitude of people from every nation, kindred, tongue, and we just see a great variety of people in heaven giving praise. When the prophet asks who these people are in white robes, he is told they are those who come out of the great tribulation. It's these group of Gentiles that will serve Yahuwah day and night in his temple. Now, I still have questions about this. We know this great multitude of people are in heaven because Revelation 19, verse 1 through 5 tells us this. Revelation chapter 7, verses 9 through 17 gets more specific and tells us they serve Yahuwah in his temple day and night. Therefore, we can ascertain they are his servants. We can get a little more insight to this in Isaiah chapter 56, verses 1 through 8. It is a lot to read, but I'll read it. Thus says Yahuwah, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Shabbat from polluting it, and keepeth his hands from doing any evil. Neither shall the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree. For thus saith Yahuwah unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them I will give them in my house, and within my walls, a place and a name better than of sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also, the sons of the stranger shall join themselves to Yahuwah to serve him, and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Shabbat from polluting it, and taking hold of my covenant. Even them I bring to my holy mountain. Even them I bring to my holy mountain. I bring to my holy mountain. And make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar. For mine house shall be called the house of prayer for all people. Yahuwah, which gathereth the outcasts of Israel, yet I will gather others. So again, Yahuwah, which gathereth the outcasts of Israel, saith, Yet I will gather others to him, besides those that are gathered unto him. It appears during the 1,000-year reign, he will bring the Gentiles to his holy mountain and make them joyful in his house of prayer. So it looks like the great multitude that was in the kingdom of heaven will be brought to the holy mountain to serve him in his temple day and night. Yahuwah says he will accept burnt offerings and sacrifices from the stranger that joins themselves to serve him and be his servants. We know this is during the 1,000-year reign because he says, Yahuwah, who gathered the outcasts of Israel, says, Yet I will gather others. I will gather others to him besides those that are gathered to him. So if he has gathered Israel, which are the outcasts, then who are the others that will be gathered with them? They are the Gentiles. So when looking at Revelation and considering Isaiah, are these Gentiles in heaven the same ones who will serve Yahuwah day and night in his temple? Is he bringing them from heaven to his holy mountain to serve him in his temple on earth? Because it appears that that's what's going on. Because in one verse, you have the great multitude that's in heaven. And you're specifically told this great multitude will serve him day and night in his temple. And then you see in other verses, he is going to bring them. So we already know he's gathered the children of Israel, which he's bringing others, meaning he's bringing Gentiles. So, I'm still learning this myself and sorting through the information to get understanding and revelation. So honestly, I really feel like for every one thing I learn, I end up with 2 more questions.